Dear listeners, we have good news. In the description under this video, you can find our new channel. Please support our channel with your subscription so you won't miss new fascinating stories. Enjoy listening to it on this Saturday morning. I woke up to the aroma of fresh coffee wafting from the kitchen, through the living room, and into the bedroom. I reached out and turned my head towards the window, half covered by curtains. With the sun already streaming through, I remembered that today was Kate and I's 5th wedding anniversary, and I had prepared a gift for her a few days ago to present today. 10 years ago, I met her at one of the university hangouts, and there was an instant spark between us. We dated for 5 years, lived together, shared our joys and sorrows, and then decided to legitimize our relationship. We had a modest but very romantic wedding by the ocean. In the city, we lived in an apartment for a better and closer commute to work. Later, we bought a house outside the city where we could spend weekends in nature and clean air, away from the dust and hustle and bustle of the city. I got a job at a big company in a position that required a lot of effort and time. I often worked late during the work week, but the weekends were always ours. Kate found her calling in cooking. She was a talented cook and always dreamed of having her own business. She started with small orders at home, inviting friends and acquaintances to try out new recipes and improve her skills. Her dishes were always great, and after a while, her client list grew considerably. She even started a social media page where she kept her cooking blog. Today, I decided to give her a new multi-purpose food processor. A couple of months ago, I happened to notice her looking through ads for similar appliances. She certainly didn't have a lot of kitchen utensils, but such a thing would come in handy for her business. So the other day I bought it and stashed it in the garage until today. Determined to make the gift a surprise, I quietly got up at night and set it on the kitchen table, decorating it with a bow and a card with a romantic greeting. And so, as I rose from bed, I fumbled with my feet for slippers, threw on my robe, and wandered towards the smell of freshly brewed coffee. No sooner had I entered the kitchen than Kate pounced on me with kisses and thanks for such a beautiful gift. "Charles, you're wonderful. That's so sweet of you. It's just what I've been dreaming of," she said, hanging around my neck. "Kate, honey, I'm so happy you liked it. You know I'd do anything for your well-being." "Darling, happy anniversary to you," I said, kissing her tenderly and hugging her. "I love you, Charles," she replied. "You know, I came up with a new meat dish just for tonight. It's gonna be delicious. I think the guests are going to love it." I had hoped, to be honest, that we would celebrate in a restaurant. Just the two of us. Without strangers. That's what we wanted to do before. Yes, it's our anniversary, so I thought it would be appropriate to have a little party right here. It's so nice and quiet here. She went to the kitchen counter and started pouring cups of coffee. I always liked her assertiveness and initiative, but on this day, I really didn't want to see a lot of people in my house. I hoped that we could spend time enjoying romance as we did in the early years of our relationship when we were into all sorts of role-playing games. Her change of heart embarrassed me a little, but I didn't want to spoil her mood and agreed with her choice. "How many people did you invite?" I sat down on a stool, leaning on the table. "Not many. Mostly our close friends and a couple of my regulars." She brought out cups and handed me one. "Did you know the Thompsons are getting divorced?" "But I still talked them both into coming." She sat down at the table across from me. "It's a shame. They were such a great couple. They were so right for each other. What a shame that they couldn't make it work." "Did it? No, I didn't know that." "Yeah, Clay doesn't say anything. I just know they've been fighting lately." "Well, that's their business. The important thing is that we're okay." "Yeah, Fanny, we are." She took my hand, which was on the table, and stroked it gently. We spent the morning doing nothing much. After breakfast, we watched a romantic movie on the local channel. Then Kate decided to get busy making goodies for the party, while I set up a table and benches in the yard, where the event would be held. I also got a couple of speakers and a tape recorder so I could play music to accompany the party. I also made extra room for smokers, of whom there weren't many among our friends, so the smoke wouldn't disturb the other guests at the table. The few hours of cooking flew by quickly. I even managed to help out a little in the kitchen when Kate needed extra hands. While the cooking was going on, she let me sample sauces and creams. I even had the honor of chopping onions for the sauce. She called me a great helper today. I was happy to help her with her idea, and by the time the guests arrived, we had everything ready. "Oh, I think the first guests have arrived," Kate said, looking out the window with the curtain ajar as she heard the hum of the car approaching from the street. She threw off her apron and went to greet them. Soon others joined in. The party turned out to be fun, light, and festive. There was not much alcohol, but it just allowed the guests to try more of the dishes prepared by my wife. Everyone admired and praised her talent. "Kate, your new dish is really wonderful. Chloe came over and was the first one to try it. Thank you." Everyone admired and praised her talent. "Kate, your new dish is really wonderful. Chloe came over and was the first one to try it. Thank you." Everyone admired and praised her talent. "Kate, your new dish is really wonderful. Chloe came over and was the first one to try it. Thank you." Everyone admired and praised her talent. "Kate, your new dish is really wonderful. Chloe came over and was the first one to try it. Thank you." Everyone admired and praised her talent. "Kate, your new dish is really wonderful. Chloe came over and was the first one to try it. Thank you." Everyone admired and praised her talent. "Kate, your new dish is really wonderful. Chloe came over and was the first one to try it. Thank you." Everyone admired and praised her talent. "Kate, your new dish is really wonderful. Chloe came over and was the first one to try it. Thank you." Everyone admired and praised her talent. "Kate, your new dish is really wonderful. Chloe came over and was the first one to try it. Thank you." Everyone admired and praised her talent. "Kate, your new dish is really wonderful. Chloe came over and was the first one to try it. Thank you." Everyone admired and praised her talent. "Kate, your new dish is really wonderful. Chloe came over and was the first one to try it. Thank you." Everyone admired and praised her talent. "Kate, your new dish is really wonderful. Chloe came over and was the first one to try it. Thank you." But I did not want to. When I refused her invitation, she left. I took out my phone to see what time it was and noticed that the battery was almost dead, so I decided to go inside to charge it. Rummaging through the desk drawer in the hallway, I couldn't find the charger. After standing for a while, I remembered that the last time I used it was in the bedroom. Going into the room, I found it there on the nightstand next to the bed. As I plugged in the wire, I noticed that Kate's laptop was open on the second nightstand, and her account was still logged in. Apparently, she was so engrossed in her cooking that she had completely forgotten about it. Although I wasn't a fan of looking at other people's personal pages, a picture of her meat dish from today caught my attention. She must have posted it from her phone while she was cooking. I sat down and started scrolling through her feed. There was nothing of interest to me personally, and I was about to close my laptop when I noticed a messenger open in one of the chats. One of the chats was with Kevin. A few awkward thoughts immediately flashed through my head. I clicked on the chat and a correspondence opened up. As I began to read, each line left me more and more amazed. It turned out that Kate was secretly having an affair with Kevin. The words in their correspondence confirmed it. The phrases, "Sweetheart," "Charles won't find out," "I feel so good with you," and a few others like that were strongly imprinted on my mind. It was like an electric shock went through me. I couldn't understand the reason for it, but the revealed truth filled me with anger with every word from the chat room. I couldn't stand it and slammed the laptop with force. I ran out of the bedroom like a scalded cat, went to the kitchen, and poured myself a full glass of wine. With each sip, I realized that my family idol was now ruined. I couldn't forgive Kate and Kevin for this. My first urge was to go to them and find out on the spot. But that seemed too easy for me. Now I understood why Kevin and Chloe were getting a divorce. Apparently, she found out about his cheating, but then why is she keeping quiet about it? She is very friendly with Kate, or maybe she doesn't know with whom. While these frantic thoughts were swirling around in my head, Kate walked into the kitchen. "Charles, I've been looking for you. Where have you been? The guests are waiting for us. Why would they be bored without me? I mumbled. Kate noticed the glass in my hands and the bottle next to it. She looked at me critically, joking that drinking alone was bad for me. As she spoke, I mentally imagined shoving the bottle into her mouth and making her drink it all down, and then... Charles, my wife distracted me from my thoughts. Are you listening to me? Let's go. But I was so emotionally invested in my fantasy that when she called out to me, my fingers clenched tightly and I crushed the glass in my hand, hurting my palm. Oh dear. Kate grabbed a towel and began to put it on the wound. But I didn't want her to touch me, so I yanked my hand away hard. Let me go, I'll do it. It's okay, I grumbled. Kate only looked at me in surprise, not understanding why my mood had changed. She had no idea that by pure coincidence I already knew everything. I went to the bathroom to rinse the wound and look in the medicine cabinet for something to bandage my arm with, leaving her in the kitchen. As I rinsed the wound and the blood dripped onto the wash basin, a plan for revenge was brewing in my head. I had always been very jealous, and Kate was well aware of that, and she tried to act like it. But now my anger was even greater than if she had just come and told me she wanted to leave me for someone else. She was doing it behind my back, and that hurt my honor and pride. I soon went out again to the guests. Kate was chatting with the girls, discussing her recipes. I saw Kevin to the side. He was smoking and didn't see me approach him. But someday I will. Maybe I'll find somebody. So many years have gone down the drain. At least I don't have kids. I see you're not too worried about it. It's like you wanted to. Well, I'm not gonna cry like a sissy, if that's what you mean. No, you're not. I just thought we'd been friends for so many years, but we don't see each other very often. I want to invite you over for dinner tomorrow night. Kate's up to something new again, and we can play chess like we used to. What? It's not a bad idea. What time should I come over? Don't bother. I'll be in town tomorrow morning, so I'll pick you up. It's on my way. We agreed that I would pick him up right around the corner from his house. In the morning, I stopped by the apartment and logged into my office account from my computer. Then I stopped at a couple more places and picked up Kevin at the agreed meeting place. Kate stayed at the country house the whole time and was cooking something in the kitchen as usual. When we arrived, Kevin's appearance came as a surprise to her, but she welcomed him as a guest. We waited for Kate to finish cooking and I invited Kevin to join us for dinner. He gladly agreed, and while my wife set the table and Kevin took a seat, I went down to the basement to get a bottle of wine to go with the meal. I chose one of the bottles we had kept for several years. Oh, Charles, is that the bottle you decided to get? What's the occasion? It's not even a holiday. Kate looked at the bottle with wonder. Have you even opened it yet? I've wanted to try it for a long time. Today was just the right mood for it. Couldn't help myself. Well, let's get to the table. When everyone was seated, I began to pour the wine into glasses. A pleasant aroma wafted over the table. Kevin, who enjoyed such drinks, proposed a toast. Well, here's to friendship, he said, and we raised our glasses. My phone rang at that moment. I'm sorry, I apologized as I answered the call. It's work, I have to take this. I put my glass down and walked out of the kitchen into the hallway. Kate and Kevin weren't waiting for me, since the toast had already been made, and they decided to savor the taste of the wine. I could hear them whispering and sipping their drinks. I was gone from the kitchen for a few minutes. When I returned, I saw that Kevin and Kate were still sitting in their seats, their heads resting on the table and their hands still holding the stem of their glasses. Both of their eyes were open but not moving. I walked over to Kevin first and checked for a pulse on his neck. There was none. Then I did the same with Kate. After making sure they were no longer breathing, I carried their bodies into the bedroom, undressed them, and placed them on the bed. Putting on my gloves, I placed their glasses, bottle, and dish beside them on the bedside tables. Everything looked like they were on a romantic date. In the kitchen, I carefully cleaned up everything, especially the third serving. When it was all done, I shut the door without locking it and left for town. From the apartment, I continued to scour my office account as if I had been sitting at home working all day. In my hand, I nervously crumpled the package of poison. Dear listeners, your support is very important to us. If you like our story, please like, comment, and subscribe. It is very motivating for us.
Me? We need your feedback to improve our content.